You ever think about the invisible nervous system that's, powering our entire modern world? It's not in the sky, it's not in our streets, it's actually hidden deep beneath the waves, and it's way more vulnerable than you could possibly imagine. So let's dive in and take a look at this critical, unseen world. Now, really, think about it. What connects your world right this second? That message you just sent, the power that's keeping your lights on, the whole global economy? It all depends on this massive, hidden network. But what if I told you that entire network is just shockingly exposed? Because that's the reality. We're talking about thousands and thousands of miles of absolutely critical infrastructure just sitting there on the seabed. For decades, we kind of got away with it. Its protection was basically that it was out of sight and out of mind. Well, that's just not good enough anymore.
And look, this isn't just about your internet connection slowing down. We are talking about our genuine lifelines. These are the power cables from offshore wind farms, the data highways that carry something like 99% of all international communications, and the energy pipelines that literally fuel our countries. They are the absolute backbone of our society.
So what's changed? Why the urgency now? Well, the threats have become much more direct, and the dangers are a lot more obvious. This isn't some theoretical problem for the future. It's a clear and present danger that's already happening in very, very real ways. Just look at this timeline of recent events. The bombing of Nord Stream, that was a massive wake-up call for everyone, but it was really just the beginning. Since then, we've seen this disturbing pattern of disruptions to vital cables and pipelines, often with no conclusive evidence about who's responsible. This pattern makes it crystal clear that we need a whole new approach, and we need it fast. You see, for way too long, our monitoring has been completely reactive. We'd wait for something to break, then send a ship out to patrol a tiny area, or maybe an underwater drone for a one-off inspection. It's totally impractical, and it's often impossible to figure out the exact location of a problem. What we need is a system that's proactive, one that's watching continuously over huge distances and can tell us exactly where a threat is the moment it happens. So how in the world do you do that? How do you monitor thousands of kilometers of seabed all at once? Well, the solution, from a project called INSURE, it's absolutely ingenious. Instead of trying to add more hardware to the ocean, they figured out how to make the cables themselves the sensors. The technology behind this is called Distributed Acoustic Sensing, or DAS for short. And what's so incredible about it is that it repurposes the fiber-optic cables that are already down there, the very things we're trying to protect, and turns them into a giant continuous microphone, a sensor network that's literally listening to everything happening around. Okay, let me break down how this sort of magic actually works. First, a pulse of laser light gets shot down the cable from a station on land. As that light travels, tiny natural imperfections in the glass fiber reflect a little bit of it back, creating this constant, faint echo. Now, when something creates a vibration nearby, say an anchor dragging or a pipeline starting to leak, it minutely stretches or squeezes the fiber at that exact spot. This changes the light echo coming back, and by analyzing that tiny change, the system can pinpoint the location of the disturbance with incredible meter-scale accuracy.
And the scale here is just astounding. A single station, sitting safely on land, can actively monitor up to 120 kilometers of cable out at sea. And with new developments, that range is only going to get bigger, letting us cover these vast stretches of the ocean floor from just one secure location.
And just to give you a sense of how unbelievably sensitive this system is, it's not just for threats. Get this. Researchers have used this exact same technology to track whales just by listening to their songs through the cables. So if it can pick up a whale singing, you better believe it can pick up an unauthorized underwater drone. Okay, so the system can hear everything. But that creates a whole new challenge, right? The ocean is a really noisy place. So how do you tell the difference between a whale song and the dangerous sound of a dragging anchor? How do you turn all that noise into actual intelligence? Well, the answer is AI. Think about it. The amount of raw acoustic data this system generates is enormous. Trying to beam all of that back to a data center on shore in real time, it's just not practical. The bandwidth isn't there, and you can't wait hours to find out if there's a problem. You need to know now. So the INSURE Project uses this really clever approach called edge computing. Instead of sending a massive fire hose of raw data back to shore, an AI system right there at the land-based station analyzes everything as it comes in. It listens to that constant stream of vibrations at the source, and it only sends an alert when it detects something that matches a threat profile. It's incredibly efficient. And this is what that AI is trained to do. It learns the unique acoustic fingerprints of all these different events. It knows what the normal background rumble of strong currents sounds like, and it can tell that apart from the very distinct, high-risk signature of a dragging anchor, or the specific sound of a pipeline starting to leak. It's all about finding that tiny needle of a threat in the giant haystack of ocean noise.
But the system goes one critical step further. An underwater alert is one thing, but knowing who's causing it is the real game changer. The system fuses its underwater alerts with publicly available ship tracking data. It's called the AIS system. So when the AI detects an anchor dragging at a specific location, it can immediately check if there's a ship right on top of it, providing credible evidence and identifying the responsible party, all in real time.
So, what does this all mean? What does it add up to? It's about so much more than just a cool piece of technology. This is about creating smarter infrastructure that can actually protect itself. It's about securing the very foundations of our connected world for the future.
And the impact is huge across the board. For security, it means we can finally detect threats proactively instead of just reacting to disasters. Economically, it prevents these incredibly expensive outages and repairs. Environmentally, it can give early warnings for things like pipeline leaks, helping to stop oil spills. And for all of us, for society, it helps ensure the stability of the energy and communication networks we all rely on every single day. You can even see its broader significance right here. The INSURE Project doesn't just solve one problem, it actually contributes directly to multiple UN Sustainable Development Goals. Everything from ensuring clean energy by protecting offshore wind farm cables to promoting peace and justice by securing critical national infrastructure.
Ultimately, this is the entire goal. As the project itself says, it's all about enhancing situational awareness. It's about giving governments and the companies that run this infrastructure the tools they need to finally see what's happening in the deep ocean, and to protect these vital assets before a crisis can happen.
So, for the very first time, our most critical, hidden infrastructure is given a voice, a way to tell us when it's in danger. The technology is here. The final question is, are we ready to start listening?